Welcome to the deep dive. Today we've got something a little different, and it's pure gold for anyone who manages people, or really for anyone trying to ace a high-stakes job interview.
That's right.
We are tearing apart the actual transcript of a final round job interview.
Yeah.
This is for a major tourism company, Golden Horizon Tours.
And this is so fascinating because it's not just about what the candidate Ahmed Hassan said, it's about what his answers reveal. What they tell us about the professional mindset you need to succeed in luxury travel.
Right. And Golden Horizon, they're not just any company. They're known for these bespoke cultural experiences.
Which means their frontline staff, they're not just agents. They're basically brand ambassadors, and they're handling some very premium expectations.
So Ahmed is applying for a consultant role. He has a degree in tourism and hotel management and about 3 years in general customer service. So our mission here is to really extract those core attributes.
The strategic mindset, the foundational skills, and the kind of preparation that convinced HR that he was the right fit.
Basically, we're giving you the shortcut to understanding what top-tier service looks like in this really demanding industry.
So let's start where the interview starts, with that professional foundation. When you begin any interview, you have to signal that you're aligned with the company, and Ahmed, well, he did this perfectly.
He did. It's not enough just to say, oh, I want to work here.
No, never.
He specifically mentioned Golden Horizon's strong reputation, but then he went deeper. He cited their commitment to customer satisfaction and cultural immersion.
And that is such a strategic move.
Yeah.
When you can identify those specific alignment points, you're signaling to the hiring committee that you see this role as a real investment, not just a paycheck.
A long-term thing.
Exactly. Companies like Golden Horizon, they are desperate to minimize staff turnover. And when a candidate can match their personal values, a passion for travel, to the company's core mission, that just massively lowers the perceived retention risk.
It's proof. Proof that he's not just looking for a job, he's looking for a professional home.
And that kind of research, it pays off right away.
Okay, so that deep research is step one. Now let's talk about his service philosophy. When he's asked about dealing with a difficult or unhappy customer, what was the mandatory first step he laid out?
The foundational approach. It's pure emotional intelligence. It starts with listening. And crucially, doing so without interrupting.
Listening first.
That's the bedrock of de-escalation. Once the customer feels heard, then he moves to the second step, the immediate apology for the inconvenience.
Okay, wait a minute. I want to push back on that a little bit, on the immediate apology. I mean, especially in a high-stakes scenario. Doesn't apologizing right away, doesn't that risk admitting some kind of legal liability? Or maybe it just reinforces this modern customer idea that they're always right, even when they're not.
That is an absolutely critical distinction, and honestly, this is where Ahmed's answer really shines. The apology isn't an admission of guilt. It is validation of the customer's feeling. The phrasing is everything. So you apologize for the inconvenience or for the frustration they're feeling, not necessarily for a company failure.
So you're validating the emotion, but you're keeping that operational distance.
Precisely. You are confirming, I hear how frustrating this is for you, and by doing that, you satisfy that immediate emotional need. Only then, after validating the feeling, does he pivot to finding a quick, practical solution.
And he had that great line.
He did. He wrapped it up perfectly, saying that patience and clear communication can solve almost any issue. That's not just a nice thought. That's a proven operational philosophy.
Okay, so that sets the internal standard. But let's move to the sharp end of the business. Stress. HR threw him a classic curveball about peak season pressure.
Always a good one.
Tourism seasons are notoriously busy, especially when you're delivering these unique, bespoke experiences. How did he handle that stress challenge?
Well, he was honest, but he's also confident. He acknowledged the reality, that seasons are busy, but he immediately pivoted to his existing competence. He said, I'm used to working under pressure.
Which signals resilience.
Right. And then more technically, he listed specific tools he uses, prioritizing tasks, staying organized, remaining calm.
And those sound basic, maybe, but under peak pressure, structure is what prevents burnout. It's what prevents errors.
Structure is performance. But the real managerial insight in his answer, the thing that makes you sit up, is this recognition that the customer should never feel the weight of the internal workload, no matter how chaotic it is behind the scenes. In luxury travel, customers pay a premium for seamlessness. The second they sense that the agent is stressed, they feel they aren't getting that high-value experience they paid for.
So that boundary
Yeah.
between the internal operational chaos and the calm external customer experience. That's professionalism,
That is the definition of professionalism in this industry.
which leads us perfectly into the ultimate stress test scenario they gave him. Yeah. The missed flight.
The worst case scenario.
An angry, exhausted customer, probably blaming the company for this massive logistical failure. What's the roadmap for handling that level of crisis?
Again, de-escalation first. Remain calm and immediately deploy empathy. He even specified the language he would use. I understand how stressful this situation is.
So he's not starting with the operational details, he's starting with that human connection.
That is the very first step to turning an antagonist into a partner in solving the problem.
And then once the temperature's lowered a bit, then the procedural stuff kicks in.
Yes. Then you check the booking details, you explain very clearly what happened, and then you shift immediately into offering tangible, proactive solutions. Ahmed listed several options.
Right, like arranging the next available flight.
Or suggesting alternative plans if the delay is going to be a long one, or helping them rebook hotels or transfers.
See, that's the key. It's not just about solving the flight problem. It's solving the entire downstream travel collapse that the flight problem just caused.
Exactly. The goal is to absorb the entire logistical headache for them. He wants that customer to walk away feeling totally supported, feeling like the company fully owned all of the next steps. And that transformation, turning a crisis into a supported partnership, that's what gets you repeat business, even after a major failure.
And all of this brilliant, customer-facing communication, it's pretty much pointless if the internal systems are broken. So let's talk about his teamwork foundation.
Yeah.
Because a travel consultant has to coordinate with ticketing, hotel ops, local transfers, accounting, everyone.
The whole sector just demands hyper-coordination. And Ahmed's response showed that he gets that big picture. He detailed his experience working closely with ticketing, with operations, with customer service teams, and he explicitly said that clear communication between these teams is the fundamental requirement for a smooth customer experience.
It shows he doesn't see his job ending at his desk, right? He sees it stretching across the entire organizational map.
Precisely. And this idea of interdependence, it's also reflected in his individual skills, particularly languages.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that.
He's already highly valuable. He's got Arabic as his native language, and he's fluent in English. But the real detail, the thing that makes him stand out, is his basic French and his active effort to improve it.
Why is that active improvement part so important for an HR manager?
Because it demonstrates initiative. It shows a growth mindset that is tailored specifically to the needs of international tourism. He isn't just passively waiting for the company to send him on a course. He's self-identifying a deficiency and he's fixing it because he knows French opens up crucial European and North African markets for a company like Golden Horizon.
So that's an employee who invests in the company's future by investing in himself.
Yes. And it's that commitment to self-improvement that really shines through in his greatest strength. He identified it as communication, being able to talk easily to different kinds of customers while staying professional. It's the unifying theme of his whole interview.
It's totally consistent. But let's analyze his stated weakness, because no interview is complete until you address shortcomings. He admitted to struggling with time management in the past, which is a common weakness, I think, especially in these high-pressure roles where you're juggling a dozen customer timelines at once.
Of course. But the weakness itself is less important than the response to the weakness. He didn't just confess to it, he presented it as a reformed flaw. He actively improved by using concrete, structured behaviors, planning tools, calendars, setting priorities.
So from an HR perspective, you're not hiring someone who's struggling with time management. You're hiring someone who recognized a performance gap, self-corrected using defined systems, and can now demonstrate accountability.
That is the crucial difference between just a confession and a strategic answer. It shows he understands that professional behavior requires structured tools, not just willpower. And structure is exactly what Golden Horizon needs to deliver those complex travel packages without a hitch.
And that focus on structure and future growth, it brings us to the final piece of this analysis, his career trajectory. What was Ahmed's ambition within Golden Horizon over the next, say, 3 years?
While his goals are highly relevant to the travel sector, he aims to become a senior travel consultant and potentially lead a small team.
Which is exactly the kind of ambition HR wants to see. It's focused, it's achievable within that 3 to 5 year development cycle, and most importantly, it signals longevity.
Oh, absolutely. If a candidate says they see themselves leading a team, they're implicitly signaling loyalty, a willingness to absorb the company's culture, its processes, over the long haul.
Yeah, in an industry that can have really high employee turnover, seeing that kind of defined linear career path in the candidate's mind, it just dramatically increases their value.
It really does. But I think the most telling details came from the questions he asked the HR representative. That's where you really see his focus on continued growth.
And he didn't ask about salary or vacation time first. What were his priorities?
He inquired specifically about the training process for new employees, and then about opportunities for career development. These are such high-value questions.
It shows he's concerned with the quality of the organizational structure and the path to progression. He's basically interviewing the company on its ability to support his own future success.
Yes, and that proactive approach, it puts the company on notice. It tells them they need a robust development program to keep a guy like this engaged.
Because they have one.
They did, and Golden Horizon provided a detailed response, which is crucial for retention. They mentioned a 2-week training program. It covers their proprietary systems, their travel packages, customer service standards, plus regular workshops and clearly defined paths to leadership.
So that reciprocity of ambition is there. Ahmed shows he wants to grow, and the company shows they have the infrastructure to make it happen. That's the optimal hiring outcome, isn't it?
It really is.
You know, this whole analysis of the transcript has revealed that top-tier customer service and travel, it's really a blend of two things. It's technical organization prioritization, planning tools, using specific de-escalation language, and then this supreme emotional intelligence.
That's a high-wire act for sure.
You have to be able to map out a global itinerary while, at the same time, you're managing an individual's deep frustration.
And that ability to listen without interrupting, to instantly deploy empathy, and to frame weaknesses not as deficiencies but as structured solved challenges. I mean, that is the playbook for professional excellence in this field.
We've established that Ahmed's self-identified greatest strength is clear communication with the customer. But here's the final provocative thought I want to leave you with, building on the source material we've discussed.
Okay.
If clear communication is the greatest individual strength, how much of success in customer service relies on the team working smoothly internally versus just that individual's ability to communicate with the final customer?
Oh, that raises a fascinating question about the balance, doesn't it? Because if Ahmed perfectly de-escalates a missed flight situation, but the operations team fails to book the connecting hotel, the entire experience just collapses.
Right, it all falls apart.
Success hinges on minimizing that operational handoff friction. It forces us to ask, is this role primarily about communication skill, or is it really about coordination skill? They're often conflated, but they are very, very different disciplines.
A good reminder that even the most personalized, most luxurious experience is still built on the efficiency of the machine running behind it all. Food for thought indeed. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the professional signals of success in the world of high-stakes travel.
Always a pleasure dissecting the strategy behind the handshake.